So you guys want to get into competitive flowerhorn keeping. In this video, I'm going to share with you guys some tips and tricks that I've learned along the way and what I've learned from my experience as a flowerhorn keeper that has entered a competition before. First thing you've got to know is, does your area have flowerhorn competitions? Luckily, I'm in an area where the Midwest region of the United States has a flowerhorn competition, and thankfully it's really close to me. When I say really close, I mean like, an hour tops drive for me. So it's not bad. I can take my fish there. I don't have to ship it or, have somebody else take it or anything like that. The last time I entered a competition was in 2017, so that was 5 years ago. Since then, I haven't really had a fish that I felt would, even stand a chance um, until this guy. I bought this guy from a breeder from Thailand. They shipped it over. It was really small, maybe like 2.5 inches. And then, that's just one of the ways where you can get a smaller fish for a cheaper price that you feel like would have great potential. A lot of people out there with deep pockets, they'll buy a gorgeous fish, spend like $1,000 and have almost a guaranteed chance that it will take home a trophy, whether it's first, second, or third. Another big thing you guys are gonna have to know is the categories there are. So basically, the categories break down to what subspecies of fish that your flowerhorn is. Generally, there's three categories. One of them being the Kampfa or the King Kampfa. So those are the larger flowerhorns. That's what this guy is. They've got more of a oval type of body. The second category would be your Zenzus, or short, people call them SRDs, which stand for Super Red Dragons. So I've got one over there. They are more distinguished by a red and gray, red and blackish, red and whitish type of body. And, they've got the massive humps. The last category is free marking. So what free marking is, I don't know if you can see them. There's a flower line, what they call a flower line. It's like that thick black marking that goes horizontally, from the eye to the tailbone. That is having a flower line. Your free marking category is absent of any flower lines. So like my orange golden base, they've got Thai silks. You don't want any line at all. This guy, unfortunately, is kind of stuck in the middle. So, he's got a couple dots there, and that would pretty much disqualify him for being a free marking. Generally, the free marking category seems to be the easiest. So while I wish, he was in a free marking so there would be less competition, I would definitely get a lot of points docked off, or might not even be able to enter him in that category because he's got a very faint flower line. Now, of those categories, two of them have different size classes. The Kamphas and the Zenzus, they have small or large. The small, if your fish falls under 6 inches, is considered in that range. Normally, they say 4 to 6 inches. Large is anything 6 inches above. This guy, he is measured. I measured him, and it's from the tip of the mouth to the end of the tailbone, so right before the fins start. He is about 5 to 5.5. So I entered him in the small Kamphas. I feel like it's more competitive because when they're smaller, you can kind of see the colors, see the pearlings a lot more than when they get bigger. And then, when their body stretches, when their head stretches, then you can, possibly see more bald spots, more empty color areas in their bodies. So back in 2017, this is what I got. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that's second place trophy for Zenzu, Chicago Flowerhorn Competition. This was presented by UFA, which is the United Flowerhorn Association. So they're probably one of the largest, if not the largest, flowerhorn groups, organizations in the country. So lucky enough to get second. And then got this guy as well. I don't know if you can make it out. Got the best cock. So now what the cock is the lump on the head, the nuchal hump. I think it's slang. You know, it's also a rooster. So it's kind of weird. I don't know why. I think it's it's a thing that started overseas, and the translations kind of slang to slang. It doesn't work out well, as you can see for this case. But they do give out special awards such as that one. They do a People's Choice. I think they do a best color, best pearls. What pearling is pretty much all that white stuff. It's all that metallic sheen that you see along the body. Um, Sometimes it's really solid. Sometimes it's more broken up. It's got like a more spider pattern, almost like when you see on like lace guppies or like cobra guppies. So you want to have a bunch of that, but you also want full coloration. The most coveted trophy in the Flowerhorn competitions is the Grand Champion. Now, how you get that is all the first place winners are put into a group. And out of that group, they judge, from the first place winners. And then the one who rises to the top becomes the Grand Champion. The Grand Champion is the largest trophy. So normally for trophies or plaques or any kind of awards, it's if you place top 3 in whatever category. So first, second, third place gets a trophy or a plaque. That was my second place plaque. I believe this year they've got trophies, and I really want a trophy, but I don't think he's going to place. I would be ecstatic if he placed, like even if he got third. I feel like the competition is going to be tough, and he's not exactly where I want him to be to feel confident in placing at a Flowerhorn competition. One of the things, if you notice on him, right at the back of his hump, he is getting a little balding. So what the balding is, if you can see right there, it's where there is lack of color, and it's kind of creeping up to the top of his head. So that thing is going to get me points docked. The other things they look at, besides the color, the hump size, all the pearling, is the fins. So now the fins, so if you look at the Kampfa, this is pretty much the body. And then you got small fins going down here, and then you've got the tail fin. Now, a perfect Kampfa shape is like this. So it's if you've got that full oval and you've got little to no space in the gaps between the fins there. So if you can see on my guy, his bottom looks pretty good, but he's got more of a gap between his top and his tail. So just going off of finish alone, docked points there. The other thing that I know that they judge on is personality. Now, I know that's weird, but personality is equivalent to aggression. So a lot of Flowerhorns, they'll come and attack your finger. They know you're going to feed them. They can recognize their owners. So they'll get really excited like a little puppy. My guy, he doesn't. He's been shy, super timid since I've got him. I thought I could bring out more aggressiveness in him, but it hasn't happened. But it's all right. It's not his fault. I don't think it's my fault. That's just the type of fish he's going to be. So I'll take the points docked on that one as well. On a scale, I don't know how it works. I want to say it's 1 to 5 for each category, but I don't know. So that's pretty much the wrap up, the real basics of Flowerhorn competitions. It's September 8th, 2022. The Flowerhorn competition is exactly 1 month away. October 8th, 2022. And this year it's going to be at Aquashella, Chicago. I'm really excited to go. I don't think I've been to an Aquashella yet. They used to have an aquatic experience in Chicago, which I've been to. The last Flowerhorn competition in 2017 that I was at was all the way in Chicago. So we had to drive there. It was at a little pet shop that the UFA hosted. So grabbed him in a bucket, drove him there, spent the day in the city, and then when that was all done, put him back in the bucket and brought him back. So generally, how the competitions are set up is they'll have a bunch of bear tanks. Um, Depending on the competitions, they could be different sizes. So I believe for this year's competition, they might be 20-gallon talls for all the Flowerhorns. And then, for the large categories, they might have larger tanks. Now, they're only going to be in there for maybe a full day and a half. I'm going to try to drop him off the day before just so, he's ready, he's more acclimated to his temperatures before the competition starts and then the judging starts. So that's the plan. You're also gonna have to figure out how you're gonna transport them. This guy is gonna be fine in a 5-gallon bucket. I'm gonna get a portable aerator, and then depending on what the weather's like, I'll see if I need to get a heater or not. So, if this was a perfect world, he would have a thicker flower line, more bold, dark black marking going across his body. His head would be larger. Right here down the middle of his face to like the back of his head will be fully colored up. He is a two-tone, so if you can see the front of his body is more red and the back is more orange, I would like that orange to be like more of a bright yellow, and then his fins would be perfect. Oh, plus his personality. So that's kind of the ideal fish that you want. I'm just hoping there's not a lot of tough competition, but ever since I did my first competition, the competition scene has been gradually increasing. There's been a lot more Flowerhorn keepers who are into competing. There was a dip during COVID, and then of course Facebook decided to ban a lot of sales on fish, live animals. So that kind of, I feel like that hindered our community a little bit. But yeah, I mean, I've been keeping them since. They're definitely one of my favorite fish, and I'm really excited to enter the competition. So that's a quick overview of the competitions. The next part we'll go more into grooming, which is more like pretty much what it sounds like. It's kind of like training plus your pre-competition prep. So we're going to go over the grooming, going over the food, and then kind of everything that leads up to it. So I want to try to do it week by week and just give little updates on each specific category. And then fingers crossed, we have a good competition. Fish hopefully doesn't get sick. I've already paid my entry fee, so the worst thing that can happen is probably that he just kicks the bucket. But I don't want him to get sick. I want to do my consistent water changes, and then we'll just get more into that with the next parts. All right.